Sorry, interruption. Um, I can understand it. You wouldn't want to be rousing them back up again. What if they break free and start, a friggin' uprising, Most strange and uncontrollable feeling. Never have I felt the way I did today. Was sitting Giles with his history lesson. Tilia was outside tending to the flower garden. For a few minutes she came inside and placed a scarlet begonia in my open palm and smiled at me in such a way that my heart felt as though it was trembling within my chest.
Greetings.
Did you find the page I mentioned, Gork?
Go with honor,
I found it.
for the Alliance.
I know of someone who might be able to assist you. Back when I was leading the Stormwind Guard, I used to get drinks at the Skull Raven Tavern in Darkshire. The innkeeper there, Smiths, was quite an expert on local lore. Show him this page and see what he has to say
Go
about it.
with honor, friend.
And now back to Duskwood. Darkshire. Still no PvP. Guess no one's really doing it at this level. Hmm.
What's up? For real?
Only 12 inventory slots left. I was mean to head to the bank before I left Stormwind earlier. Never did. Fervor of the Temple Explorer. Crit strike chance by 5%, spell damage by 65, and all stats by 8%. I don't know how you're meant to make sure you get world buffs and shit, Like, it's just like, okay, so I need someone else to go complete Nomergan so I can do this raid? It just sounds like an insane requirement. Like, I get it, it helps out greatly. Those buffs are nice as shit, but it's not something you can reliably have. The chrono stopper thing is useful in that, but it runs out. You deactivate it, it runs out. You can't make sure you'll get it again.
Hey there. Have a good one. You need something?
Watchful Haggard sent you? Why didn't you say so? Ah, good old Haggard. Poor chap is going to be completely blind before long. Anyway, let me see what you got there.
Have a good one.
Light. Bet I recognize that handwriting.
For the Alliance.
I've followed the legend of that Sylvan character for years. When those visiting nobles were slaughtered a few years back, I went with Haggard to investigate. I found those muddy pages, but we were never able to link that handwriting to that crazy man in the woods. Um, I, I followed the legend of that Stilven character for years. When those visiting nobles were slaughtered a few years back, I went with Haggard to investigate. I found those muddy pages, but we were never able to link that handwriting to that crazy man in the woods. Your trail of evidence proves his guilt. Take this to Commander Ebenlock immediately and fill her in on what you've discovered. Though, through thick blood, a few words still remain legible.
Around.
Need help?
At ease, Paladin. If you were just passing through, I suggest you stick to the roads and travel only by day. If your business is here in Darkshire, consider lending your abilities to Night Watch. Our skill is unquestionable, but our numbers are small.
Farewell.
This better be good, Paladin. Let me see what you have and tell me the tale, but by the light, be quick about it. Darkshire's defense is my #1 priority. I have not time to squander on dead-end leads.
See you around.
My, proving yourself to quite a detective, Paladin.
Have a good one.
I have had my eye on that creep Stilven for quite some time, but if this page was written by the same hand, it proves his guilt beyond a shadow of a doubt. In all his days keeping the town registry, Cork Daltrey has become an expert at identifying handwriting. Show him this page and see if that handwriting matches the registry signature.
Be careful.
Downward spiral of despair. First she mocks me and now she's engaged. The ungracious charlatan was pretending to love when she truly desired to hurt me all along. Black void lurks within me now, and it grows with each waking moment. The blood I shall spill pales in comparison to the tears I have shed.
What can I do for you?
Back again, Gork, what do you have this time?
See you around.
Ah, yes. The writing on this page does in fact match that of the registry signatures.
Safe travel.
Commander Ebenlock knew immediately that handwriting matched Gork. Her suspicions were correct.
See you later.
What can I do for you? See you
I
around.
knew it. Fine work, Gork.
Farewell.
Sylvan Mistmantle led a life of depravity. Innocent victims died by his hand. Undoubtedly, he's guilty of countless crimes. One massacre, potentially. That's all we can confirm. We can't confirm anything else, really. Well, one massacre is bad enough, but... Yeah. 2 children, 2 adults, maybe the fiance. Now the lunatic threatens Darkshire. The light only knows what sordid acts he is plotting. Travel to his cottage just north of town, Paladin, and execute Stilven once and for all. When the deed is done, travel to Madame Eva's and show her his family ring. After all, it was her premonition that led to this gruesome discovery. But Darkshire is safer because of her.
Be careful.
Not too sure on the button that statement, but sure. Ooh, it's marked in red. Jesus. We'll hold off on that, so. Ooh, mining trainer.
Need help? Be careful. Well met.
Not lived until you dug deep into the earth. Never actually noticed characters saying this stuff up there before.
For the Alliance.
Could be a once-off.
Greetings.
You know what? I'm gonna swing into the Twilight Grove and see what's it like in there. I wonder if they're gonna leave in the legendary quest to get Medivh Staff. That is in classic.
I need a target.
They removed it at some point. I don't remember when. Cat at the very latest, but they may have removed it before that. Could have very well removed it very well could have removed it. Burn Crusade. 10. Yep. But yeah, it very well could have removed the Burn Crusade. But there was a quest before to remake the Medivh staff. It was a Nax quest. You had to go get splinters of it, and then which would drop from the different bosses of Naxxramas. But then you'd also have to gather. Ooh, chest. You'd have to get splinters from random bosses in Nax, but then you'd also get dedicated staff pieces via Wubba Wubba from particular bosses. You may have gotten the head piece from Kel'Thuzad himself. It was a difficult journey. You then had to bring it into like Stratholme and purge it of a demon. I remember all this from the some guide. Need to go further. Given that this does scaling damage, I'm not sure how much the this would actually help it. Let me get it up. Damage done by it's a percentage, but it's too dark here. I can't see. But yeah, I'm not. It just feels like they could kind of conflict, you know? I don't know. If it improves it, it improves it. Emerald Warden. I think they did exist previously.
Greetings.
But, I don't think they actually had a faction or, like, nothing you could join, you know? Nightmare Hound. Sorry. There's the quest NPC. There's Quartermaster. Attempts to remove one curse, disease, and poison. Old rice cakes. Greater healing potions. Limited to 5. But it's a reliable place you can go to buy more. And they only cost 5 silver. That honestly seems great. Ah, moonberry juice, I remember that. Tangawoon, you're here, Gurk. We've been overrun with demons coming through the Emerald Dream Gate. We've been cut off from my scout there. Please, find Scout Charla by the Dream Gate and come back with a field report. Along the way, kill a few of swarming demons. Once you get back with the report, I'll give you a follow-up mission to act on that intelligence. You can try and solo this stuff, but I'm not sure how feasible it'll be. Feels better to do it with a group. As far as I remember, there's no warglaives in Classic. I think the first warglaives in the game were the legendary ones you could get off of Illidan, but they were actually usable by any melee class. I think for friggin' Palanai could have used them. Or Gurik here. I'm gonna head over to Jitters first, then I'll finish the night watch quest. Then I'll go kill those Worgen. Took my eyes off the prize. Damn it. Did so again. Beware, beware, a threat lurks in the wilds. Night Watcher, be alert. Is that saying someone finished the Stitches questline? Or is there something else going on? Well, I want to be careful. Actually, that's Watcher Cutford. It's not the Town Crier. The Town Crier is the one for Stitches. This is something else. Yeah, it's this guy shouting out.
What can I do for you?
Okay, I do have my phone, so I'm gonna stand among them and... Watcher... Cutford. Wasn't expecting it to be demons rushing out of the portal. I was expecting it to be, you know, Emerald Nightmare themed enemies. Oh, cool. You know, the Lattimore back in town. She does end up becoming commander. Alright, people, look alive.
King's honor, friend. What can I do for you?
Need help?
Okay, actually, this may be the Stitches quest. Yeah. It is a Stitches thing. Undead on undead on undead violence. Awful. Something for me to feck back to Stormwind to try and auction off a few pieces, but I think I can last a while. Oh, my freaking arm. Neck. I feel it going up into the back of my head. This pain. I'm gonna stop here for a moment. BRB. 1. 1, 2, 3. Hey folks.
You need something?
Who are you? Leave me be.
Have a good one.
Jitter sighs. Yes, I'm done with that book. You finally found me, eh? Well, if you read that journal, then you only know half of it.
Safe travels.
The book you found was only half finished. I had to leave it at Sven's farm when I fled there. Here, take my completed journal, Sven. It describes more fully what happened at his farm. Although this journal has been my only company these past weeks. If giving it up keeps me from facing Sven and his wrath, then I'll do it willingly.
See you around.
Hey, I brought you food. My journal. The terror of these past few weeks is almost more than I can bear. Why is it that by writing words into this book I can somehow keep the madness at bay? Perhaps it is as if I'm confessing my sins. From a certain angle I thought those were bones. To a sound companion, are freeing my mind of these tortured thoughts and confining them to paper. I began a journal before this one, but remains in a place to which I cannot return. So I'll start afresh. But this time, I'll start from the true beginning. It began with the finding of the cursed site in the mine they called Roland's Doom. Yes, that was the start of it. Before that, the Defiance Brotherhood was happy with our progress in Duskwood. Before the site, the terrors of this place seemed as tame as Northshire Valley. But ever since I found the haft of the site jutting from that pile of rubble in the mine, and cursed me, pulled it free, Roland's Doom became a place of vile death. If I'd known what would happen, I would have cut off my own hand to keep it from grasping that rune-carved wood. So many regrets. Always thought I was privileged of the old. No, it is not the old, it's the hopeless who don the mantle of regret, unable and unwilling to shrug it from their shoulders, stoop to a misery. But enough waxing like a pipe-mad poet. I must continue with the chronicle. After this site was freed, a change rippled through the mine. Light from our flickering torches warped. And the strength of her voices seemed beyond our control. Sometimes the man's whisper roared through the tunnels, forcing hands on ears, and sometimes our shouts barely traveled a few steps before diminishing into a hint on the wind. Unnerving, yes, but we did not have long to wonder at the strangeness. It was but a harbinger of what truly drove us from the mine, the Worgen. They came at us from everywhere, calling from hidden holes at our feet and dropping upon us from silent perches above. Half our men fell in those first panicked minutes. The rest, including myself, tried to flee. I ran as I saw so many of my brothers taken by tooth and claw, heard so many screams cut short or gurgled to silence. For all I know, I'm the only human to escape that place. I can only guess why I survived that night. I have always been cautious, always quick to flinch from jabs and to leap free from pitfalls. My nickname, Jitters, comes from this trait. So perhaps it was just that act of precaution that saved me. Or maybe it was the sight I pulled from the rubble. It cannot be the sight itself, for I lost it during the frantic fight. But if it was I who brought the Worgen to Duskwood, then perhaps the Worgen afforded me a rare courtesy. Curse them. Or perhaps I'm doomed to witness the change I wrought on Duskwood. Perhaps it is my fate to watch as the Worgen tear into this land, staining it ever darker with their foulness. If that truly is my fate, then it is twofold, for the Worgen are not the only power to clutch at Duskwood. The fiends from Deadwind Pass have also staked claim. That is the next chapter of my tale, and I pray it is the last. After surviving the flight from Roland's Doom, I hid it within a barn owned by a man named Sven. I spent a few days in the barn, and such horror lingered with me that I never once made myself known to Sven or his family. But from what I saw from my hiding place, I knew these farmers were quite decent folk. Had I stepped from my concealment, I think they would have taken me in. But trust is hard for me, harder still after that shock in the mine, so I remained hidden and it saved my life. A few days after I arrived at the barn, Sven left his farm for Darkshire. He kissed his wife and smiled to his children, and promised to return soon with toys and sweets. 1, 2. The poor man, that was the last time he saw his family unmutilated. At least, they parted happily, and at least his wife was the first to die, and was freed from seeing the slaughter of her children. But these small graces do nothing for me. I saw what happened, and it will ever haunt my dreams. My hand trembles as I recall the details of that night, when Sven was away and his family was doomed to face the Black Riders alone. Again, regret calls at me, for I was there, and could have risen against those fiends from Deadwind Pass. But it is a false regret. It is the same that plagues any survivor of a tragedy. I know that, had I left my place of hiding, I too would have been killed. My body ripped and torn, and its pieces spread so widely that I would not be recognized. But even though I knew I could have done nothing to stop this heinous murder, one true regret does remain. I brought the Black Riders to Sven's farm. My discovery of this site was not only unleashed the Worgen upon Duskwood, it drew the riders from Deadwind Pass. I know this because just before they began their slaughter, they asked one question to Sven's wife as she held her children close, giving them what comfort she could, though she was certain death was near. The sight of a wound, one of the riders shrieked in a voice both harsh and shrill, like the grating of an axe on stone. And the last word, a wound, it croaked, as if choking on the sound. Dread gripped me when I heard that voice, both from the horrid sound of it and because I knew the sight of which the rider spoke. It must be the same cursed thing I drew from the rocks of Roland's Doom days before. It was what the Black Riders sought, and it was what would kill Sven's family. I never learned the name of Sven's wife, as she was only ever called Dearest and my love and Mommy by her husband and children. But I wish I knew it. I'm the only living memory of her deed that day, and although she was just a farmer's wife, never have I seen a man or woman act with such bravery. Of course, she did not know of the sight, but when she learned the rider sought it, in an instant a plan formed in her head. It was bold and clever, if only it had worked. The sight? She asked in a calm voice. Of course I do. Who wouldn't? Who here wouldn't? She looked at the riders with steady eyes, and I would have sworn she spoke the truth if I had not known better. There's no way she could know about the sight. Her gamble paid off. The same rider who uttered the question before bent his head slightly towards her, and shrieked, "Where?" "I'll take you, all of you," she said, and I could see a small hope flicker behind her eyes. "But the way is far, my children would saw us. Must leave them." Her trick was simple, but simple tricks have the best hope of success. If it worked, it would lead the riders away from the farm. She would be lost, but her children would be safe, and it would work if only the riders believed her noble lies. Although I have never been a student of the light, I prayed frantically for the Sven's wife as she stood against those terrible riders. Please, I prayed, let them believe. They stood, frozen. She met their gazes with calm. Then one rider looked up. As if hearing a distant call, he drew from his garb a small gem and peered into it. Then, with a gesture Then he gestured with the bauble towards Sven's wife. Light crept from the rider towards the woman, shaping itself into a grim white hand. She stared into the light unflinching, but I could see uncertainty behind her mask of confidence. When the hand reached her, it spread its fingers wide over her head, and it squeezed. Sven's wife stood rigid as a board, and her eyes grew wide. Although her lips pulled back to mouth a scream, no sound escaped. For a few moments of this torture, the hand released her, dropping her to her knees. The rider who held the bauble then sat erect in his saddle. A loud voice erupted. "This woman lies," it said in a voice that had scarred my dreams. "She has not seen this sight." After this, the rider's shoulders stooped slightly, as if the spirit within him had fled. Then, in the old shrieking voice it used earlier, these final words were uttered. "The Lord has spoken. Kill them." I cannot describe what happened next. It is clear in my mind, but if my wretched soul cannot put to paper the events of those few grisly minutes. Put to paper the events of those next few grisly minutes. I could only write that Sven's family was killed, and soon after Sven returned to this grim, deathly scene. Such grief was in him that I was afraid to show myself, and so afraid was I that he would find me. I fled from my hiding spot in the barn. I do not know where Sven is now, but I pray he will someday find peace. I spent the next few weeks moving from place to place, never lingering for the fear of the riders. I am now in the abandoned town of Raven's Hill, as always, hiding. I cannot face whatever power they used against Sven's wife. I know it searches Duskwood, even still for this site. It is lost to me, and I thank the light for this, for had I kept it, I know I would have been found. Even now, I know in my heart that I will be found. I'm so tired. Jitters, though, is not found. The riders don't appear in the game. And, I think you can actually find the site of Loon, but the questline goes nowhere, and then Kata does its own thing.
King's honor, friend.
Sven ends up becoming a werewolf, but he finally finds Jitters in Kata, even though he's just down the road from him right now. I suppose you'd want to see the payoff of Sven finally meeting Jitters, but Kata takes place like 6 years later, or, nearly a decade after Classic. So it's kind of janky, man. Did you find who the shadowy figure was?
Light bless you.
This journal explains much to me and sets me on the path against the Dark Riders. I've seen these riders in Duskwood, and I've seen them speak with the wizard Morbin Fell of the Forlorn Row.
Go with honor, friend.
Morbin Fell is a necromancer and an ally to the Dark Riders. I will pit you against the power of Morbin Fell, but I will not send you against that vile fiend without first knowing your strength. You've already proven your bravery to me, but if you truly wish to face the necromancer, then you must now prove your skill against his minions.
Be careful.
I'm going to stop for a second. I'm in much demand today. A lot of bing bongs. Hello, folks, and I've returned. Let us continue. Let's head into the cemetery. We have 2 quests needed, and I even forgot I was in the friggin' queue there for PvP, and still not in. Okay, I've got 2 quests I can do here. Here's a gap. I already killed those. Probably gonna have to kill some extras, but that's fine. I just don't want to pointlessly kill them. Here we go. Wow, staff that just outright gives armor. Not used to seeing like a weapon that just gives armor. Go to here. Heal.
Isn't ready. That's still short.
Would have been nice if they used death coil or something rather than heal.